Hello and welcome to GatherVerse Summit 2025, day 2. And what an amazing day so far. We've had so many fantastic roundtables, much fantastic conversations, and a lot going on for today. But in this roundtable and our amazing panelists that we have here today, we're going to be talking about the role of emerging technologies in strengthening global peace and collaboration. So before we get into this, if I could ask everyone to mute their microphones just so that we don't have disturbance when people are speaking. And then obviously I will call you out, obviously when to speak and etc. so that we can keep amazing conversations going on throughout the panel. So what we're going to do quickly is we're going to do a 30-second introduction from each of yourselves. And then once we've done the introduction, then we will get it straight into the questions. And by the way, good to see you again, Jared. But we'll start with Lawrence, then we'll go to Jared, Stephen, and then Deshaun. So Lawrence, over to you.
Of course. Well, my name is Lawrence Harris. I'm a 19-year-old youth empowerment speaker, and my primary focus on helping teens and young adults to improve their mindset. And one of the things that drew me to this summit is my understanding of technology and the impact that it's having on the world. Because it's quite easy for us to see many things, such as this division between men, women, different groups of people, and it's being blasted on social media. So that's kind of my expertise, and I look forward to meeting the rest of you as well.
Thank you very much for joining us, Lawrence, and great to have you with us. And if you can just mute your microphone, please, if you do come in, make sure that your microphone is muted so that we can have no disturbance whilst other people are speaking. Is it Obgon? That's it. Yeah, thank you. So where was we going to go to next? Sorry, Jared, yes, over to you, then Stephen, Dishon, and then Obon. So Jared, over to you.
Hey. Thank you all for having me today. Nice to connect with everyone. My name is Jared Arms. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, the founder and CEO of a company called Kyler.io Coin, which is a blockchain platform focusing on teaching youth Web3 education and things like that. Also, I run another website called crypto.com, as you all can see the domain, which is crypto.com in Japanese. So just trying to expand in that different marketing and things like that. And just interested in joining you all to see what I could learn and possibly share my expertise as well.
Thank you for joining us, Jared. Dishon, welcome as well. I believe it's your first time, so please introduce yourself.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Dishon J.M. Mochia. I come from Kenya, Nairobi, and I'm the founder of Apishi Technologies. We use data and technology to enhance experiences. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And Stephen, welcome. And it's good to have you with us as well. Please introduce yourself.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Stephen Mwasia from Nairobi, Kenya, in Africa continent. And I play a major role in technology in terms of helping organizations stay safe in terms of cybersecurity and ensuring that the organization remain compliant. So generally, I'm doing cybersecurity consultancy.
Amazing. Thank you very much for joining us, Stephen. And I'm sorry, I cannot say your name. Please help me. Upgon. Is it Upgon? Upgon? No. What? Please tell me.
Yeah, that's Obon. So you can say OBF for short.
OBF. Okay, amazing. Thank you.
OBF. My mentor is here, Prof. William Jackson. He calls me OBF. And so I'm the head of AI at Innovations Labs. And we are in the business of democratizing access to AI from the inner city communities of Africa to other clients in different parts of the world. So we are like that, all kinds of AI tools out there. How do we use it for good? So we are into the business of responsible and productive use of generative AI.
Thank you for joining us, OBF. Awesome. And last but not least, and we were on the previous panel together, but we'll give you a special introduction. Welcome, William.
Thank you. Hey, let me tell you, it is such an honor to be here among you awesome young men. You just don't know how much this warms my heart that y'all are doing so many amazing things around the world, and our young people are watching y'all and checking y'all out and following y'all. So keep up the good job. God bless. I'm glad I'm here.
Thank you for joining us, William. And do you want to just quickly, in like a 30-second introduction, like what do you do, William?
Well, I am a retired teacher, but I am the CEO of Metaverse WP and My Quest to Teach. We provide Metaverse sites for the disabled and accessibility for conferences and workshops.
Thank you for joining us, William. And I think Josephus is having issues. He's 1 minute here, the next minute he's not. So he seems to be going very slow right now. Josephus, is that how you say your name? Do you want to quickly introduce yourself if you're able to? Are you there, Josephus? Nope. Okay. All right. Let's get straight into the questions. So we have a lot of questions to cover in today's roundtable. So the first one is, how are new developments improving international cooperation, right? Which is the topic, by the way, is the role of emerging technologies is strengthening global peace and collaboration. So how are new developments improving international cooperation? And Jared, we'll go over to you. Let's kickstart this off.
So I would say it's improving it quite significantly. Of course, you got the negative sides of it, but as far as on the positive side, I think it's doing quite great. Looking at how a lot of these companies are being able to cut the development costs. Of course, that may be not the best thing when we're looking at employment and things like that, but just being able to recycle those resources in different areas, so they may not necessarily put the funders in this project, but they'll be able to still fund other things. On the international side, though, just based off some of the projects that we like looking at and working on, got the big companies, Microsoft, IBM's, of course, DeepSeek and things like that. So it's really based off exactly like what technology sector, but I guess honing in with like the AI, blockchain and things like that definitely is great. It's giving people more ownership control, more power. But I would really say just being able to cut the costs by having these technologies replace some of the manual work that probably was taking place. That probably ain't the best response, but that's the biggest thing. I could see how these companies saying this really being of value by being able to save money and not just cutting jobs, but also allowing people to be free to do what they probably was destined to do. Going back to Walt Disney when he started and lost his, I think it was something O'Gram or something like that. I forgot the name of his first cartoon company, but some of those cartoonists eventually was some of like the top animators for like Looney Tunes and things like that throughout the future. But at the current moment, without him having funding, they probably was like, oh man, my career is over with. So sometimes it may be a good thing, but I would definitely say with cutting costs and stuff like that, also being able to save time, that's a big asset for all of us as well.
By the way, I completely agree with you when it comes to AI and blockchain technology. It definitely, I think the collaboration when it comes to those two technologies in particular, and even other technologies too, like XR, VR, etc. as well. But when it comes to those two particular technologies in particular, when it comes to, for example, the EU coming together, I mean, we had the French Action Summit, the AI Action Summit, which brought all the people in Europe together. I mean, we have, for example, Mika, again, which brings all the people together in terms of the crypto side of things. So I definitely think when you're talking about global collaboration, definitely the blockchain and AI is bringing people together for sure. Let
me add one extra thing while you mention it, because I'm trying to be general on my responses. But even with I think Filecoin and IPFS and ISS, they actually was able to do like a data transfer in orbit. So that's cool, just looking at the planetarium effects as well versus just global impacts that we could say these Web3 and Web4 technologies are starting to bring.
Yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree with Jared. And it's like we're preaching to the choir right now when it comes to that side of things. And William, when it comes to the metaverse side of things and everything like that too, Please share us your thoughts when it comes to improving international cooperation.
Well, I think one of the key things is you're looking at it right now, using these various types of technologies for all of us to come together initially to talk and meet and plan and collaborate. These gentlemen, I've worked with a couple of them already in 2024 and looking forward to 2025 and 2026 and beyond, where not just me, but others that have this synergy together. We can share ideas, we can collaborate, we can create generational change, particularly using technology in finances and education and e-commerce and all the other aspects of technology that's available now. So instead of young people just looking at athletes, which is okay, but you're looking at entrepreneurs here and business owners and thought leaders and intellectuals that without technology, we might not have been able to meet, and providing AI in the metaverse that only allows us to accentuate, our brands and market what we're doing to the world is phenomenal. So this is great.
No, I completely agree with you 110% there. I think everything about technology is amazing. Yes, it does have its faults. Like on the last panel, William was talking about the sustainability side of things, but overall, I mean, there's a lot of benefits to metaverse, blockchain technology, AI, VR, XR, numerous other technologies, IPFS, right? I mean, we could even go to Pinata if we want to. But there's so many positive things when it comes to technology and bringing people together. And I really do believe that, as technology continues to advance, it's going to continue to bring people together, including like when it's talking about AI experiences, like, when you have your own sort of individual AI experience and how AI is going to have like individual experiences. It's also going to have overall community experiences too, which can bring people together on that side of things. So going into the next question now, which is, what role does Joseph, first, could you mute your microphone, please? We can just hear you typing and stuff. Thank you. Which brings me to the next question, which is, what role does technology play in strengthening communication between regions? So we'll bring OBF into this, and then we'll go to Lawrence after. So what are your thoughts on this specific question, OBF?
All right, thank you. So in strengthening communication between regions, the emerging technology has brought in the concept of interoperability. In the metaverse, the walls has been broken and the divide is no more. So people from different races, like myself from the African rainforest, could always interact with William Jackson, my mentor from Jacksonville in Florida. And so that is what has happened. So that communication, that divide, right from after the COVID, that divide has been broken. And I could call that the walls, right? So on my LinkedIn, I have so many big profile individuals. I serve at iMarsons, a digital infrastructure professionals organization in the US as a data analyst. And I talk with all these kind of big folks from NASA, from Microsoft data centers and all of that. So emerging technologies like AI, the metaverse, and blockchain has broken the walls and made communication seamless and give us access to persons from all kinds of places, different part of the world.
No, for sure. I completely agree with you, OBF. And I mean, even if we just use an example of the metaverse, right? Let's just kind of go with an example that we all know. When it comes to everyone being able to, jump in the metaverse together and having your own avatar and be able to communicate and be able to do different emotes and stuff like that, and be able to walk around with each other and be able to talk and text and like there's so many different things that you can do within the metaverse that when it brings people together, when it comes to sort of the communication side of things and breaking the regions down, like the metaverse from that point of view allows us to do that. And as the real world integrates more with the virtual world, or vice versa, the virtual world integrated with the real world, we're going to have that even closer interaction and breaking those regions down even more. And I don't know what's going on because we keep moving around. So now, Lawrence, let's bring you into this. What are your thoughts on this too?
Yes. So regarding the role that technology has been playing in strengthening the communication between regions, one of the big things I'd like to mention is how it's allowed business to be conducted through over vast distances. Previously, if you wanted to have a service such as a website built, a crypto blockchain, or any service of any kind, you had to personally know that person in your location.
Right.
And I live in Pennsylvania, so America. And the web development team that I hired to build my website lived in India. For them to custom build a website, so not from a template, it was coded, everything on there was custom built. If I hired somebody in America to make it exactly how I wanted it to be, I was looking at $15,000. But they were willing, well, not just that they were willing to do it for $400, but that's the price that they offered, because the currency difference makes $400 American dollars worth 3 months' salary in India. Now that you're able to conduct business from so far away, this opens up things such as virtual conferences for public speakers.
Mm-hmm.
With AI, the communication there is typically, if I wanted to contact an organization, I need to find the name of it. I need to go to their website, find the contact information of the person I need to get in contact with, and do that for every place I want to contact. That's a very slow, boring, and tedious process. So, thanks to AI, I was able to find one that it has a database of over 400 million associations, 300 podcasts, and 12 million conferences all throughout the world. I then was able to filter it down to America, and it's just a gigantic list of every association, what their biography is. It custom writes my emails for me, and all I have to do is read it over to make sure it's correct and hit send. So it's not only improved our ability to communicate for business purposes, it's improved our ability to communicate with friends who live in different countries, different states, or even a different city. It's also improved our ability to communicate our value as a business owner. Because if you have a very complex business like AI blockchains, not everybody knows what that is. But if you describe it to ChatGPT and tell it, explain this in terms that the average 20-year-old can understand. Just like that, you've simplified your entire business and can explain it to people who don't know the technical language of an AI blockchain.
Right. So using AI to be able to simplify the communication between regions is actual very interesting use case in how you can do that. And
yes,
also AI.
I also want to add in there that although this isn't a super recent emerging technology, we can just look at the internet as a perfect example. Thanks to the internet, we've connected people in Africa, Asia, America, South America, India, all over the world. And we're all in a call speaking to each other as if you were across the table from me.
Yeah,
before,
I agree.
Just 30 years ago, that wasn't possible.
Sure. No, I mean, thank you for sharing that, Lawrence. And I do agree with you in every aspect there. I mean, you know, like how you're saying, we're here right now on GatherVerse, speaking to each other, communicating with each other right now. And that's how technology is bringing us closer together. And like when it comes to conflicts in particular, how has technology helped to mediate different conflicts? Which is a very interesting thought. So we'll bring Stephen into this one, and I would also like to bring in Dishon on this one. So Stephen, what are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Well, I would say technology has been a key has played a key role in terms of helping in mediating of conflicts. For example, if you look at social media platforms, have been very instrumental when we talk of peace resolutions in terms of peace building efforts. Uh, I know everyone remembers the issue to do with Palestine. People were able to do that digital activism, playing a crucial role in ensuring that not everything gets messed up over there. And also, when you look at the emerging side of things in terms of, blockchain technology, there are various exploits into which people have tried to use, blockchain technology to, create transparent land registries to just solve disputes to do with land. And it's really becoming a big thing in terms of adoption of the blockchain technology in our country, Kenya, because we're talking about how best we can build that transparent platforms building the blockchain technology in order to be able to create registries that are not tampered with, and that will be able to help in terms of solving minor disputes to do with property ownership. So I would say technology plays a very big role in terms of helping in conflict resolution.
No, I do agree with you, Stephen. And when it comes to real world assets, and when it comes to when we're talking about assets of like gold and property and everything like that, like absolutely, it helps with the conflicts, and you know who owns it, who it's been transferred to. You can see all those records, you can see all the data. It can't be tampered with. It's not on a centralized system, which can be removed or taken away, etc. So I completely agree with you, Stephen, in terms of that aspect. And Deshaun, what are your thoughts on how has technology helped to mediate conflicts?
First, I'd like to go back to the second question. What role does technology play in strengthening communication? I think we can all agree that this technology that has emerged has broken barriers in all different types of forms, both physical and others. For example, in languages, I work a lot with multilingual clients, French, especially here in Africa, here in Nairobi. So the French-speaking African, the Amharic, the Arabic, they usually have translators and interpreters situated in the room when they're discussing certain conferences. So having AI-powered translation equipment or just softwares that are used that can be used for these people to engage and converse without so much back equipment being used is actually a powerful thing, and it can help strengthen communication between regions, especially in such a continent in Africa. On the examples where technology has helped mediate conflict, I like to iterate my colleague. Social platforms has really helped in this day and age to shine a light on conflict. And conflict, usually a problem, have the saying that goes, when you actually want to solve a problem, you start by mentioning it. So in conflicts such as in Congo or even in Gaza or Ukraine, the fact that people are able to identify that things are happening around the world, put a voice to that conflict, and also helped mediate the conflict. Yeah.
That's an interesting point of view. And also, like, kind of go back to question 2, which you're saying about the communication side of things. I mean, communications help stop conflicts, right? And helps mediate conflicts. So even just simple communication and using AI to translate it, like how you're saying, actually that mediates conflicts as well, like on its own. So I mean, that was a good point what you really brought up there, Dishon, and I kind of caught on to that too. As soon as you brought that point up, I was like, that's fantastic point of view. So and I agree with everything else you said as well, Dishon, when it comes to that. And William, we will come back to you. It's just that I've got to keep moving through the questions because we do have limited time. So I will come back and circle around to you after. In this question, though, is how do emerging technologies, help encourage open dialogue across cultures? I mean, this kind of it all interlinks, right? But so, William, this is your golden moment. So please join us.
Well, I tell you straight off, I would never have had the honor to meet any of these gentlemen here at all if it wasn't for technology, if it wasn't for LinkedIn, if it wasn't for the metaverse and AI. And somehow, some way, all of our paths have crossed. And I've learned so much from them about connecting with each other, learning from each other, but then importantly, supporting each other as well, because we all have similar goals, but our communities may be a little bit different, but we have so much in common that it is imperative for us to help each other and stay connected so that we know what's going on with each other culturally, environmentally. So, if my brother in Nigeria says, hey, William, I need help and ideas, I'm able to do it. If my brother in Uganda was like, hey, William, I need some support doing something with a workshop or something, we're there to support each other and help each other. So that communicative part is very important and very key. Thank you.
No, I completely agree. Dishon, please join us. Yeah.
On the emerging tools encouraging open dialogue across cultures, there's a specific game I've played called Assassin's Creed. It usually focuses on different. It focuses on different cultures or different time periods, from Italy to USA to the Americas, I think. So the one I played was Assassin's Creed Origins, focusing on Egypt. There's a mode where you can just go on an adventure without playing the storyline and just see the pyramids of Gaza and I think Alexandra's something. Just you go a tour through Egypt without playing the actual game. So you learn about Egypt without actually going to Egypt. So it's a very powerful thing.
No, and also like when it comes to emerging technologies and how it encourages open dialogue across cultures. I mean, that is important, right? Because like, for example, I live in the UK, right? But for example, the American culture is completely different to the UK culture, right? Like, for example, the UK tends to be how would I put this in very nice terms? A lot more polite, right? Very nice. And there's certain words that we tend to say a certain way, and then Americans say words a different way. And then you're like, what is that word? Like, for example, crisps is like chips for you guys or something like that. I can't even remember. But anyway, the point is being able to learn these different words or saying or phrases or experiencing different cultures from different cities and backgrounds. Emerging technologies allow it to have that. And I'm going to go to the metaverse on that side of things too, because the fact that I can go to a different city and be in that city and without even having to travel there and still get that experience being in that city in a virtual world, that is amazing. And then combine that with AI, and then AI, representing that culture as well, is a great new way or found way in which we can do that. So, but yeah. And Jared, actually, let's bring you into this, Jared. What is your thoughts on this, actually? Because I can see you focusing. So please tell me, like, what are your thoughts, actually?
No, I was deep in listening to everybody, but two things that I'm thinking real quick. One, with this platform that we're doing, we're trying to expand and build this bridge with Asia. A lot of these companies, I'm not sure if they're currently in 2025, but I know the last few years, Google, Facebook, Instagram, a lot of these big companies was blocked in countries throughout Asia. So we have a lot of people starting to use our token, not just in Asia, in a lot of countries, but specifically throughout Asia, like the first month we launched. So trying to build this bridge in this community where I can help people connect with an additional potential 175 plus million customers, students for their programs and things like that. So being able to, like the .com in Japan, they haven't had their moment yet when they're talking about it like natively. So like the McDonald's in Japanese, McDonald's.com to JPMorgan.com to blockchain.com to this to that. It's a lot of people that's starting to reach out to us. And we just communicate with them. So that's been like a cool thing. Like one thing too is like the power of ownership though. I can get deep. Y'all know how I can get to talking. So that's one thing I can say. Like we building this bridge where we connecting hundreds of millions of people. Like just day one, people, 1,000 people here and there. A lot of people are starting to come on Twitter now, just writing us in all different languages throughout Asia and just taking the time to use AI to reply back to people. Some people talking about suicide, want to know what's our favorite color, but it's moving from just people using our product or platform to more so want to get connected to us as like I guess like an emotional attachment or something like that. So that's been really cool, because language has been like something that has scared me, because I didn't have mine snatched from my family. So now I'm kind of just jumping into a different language. The second thing, technologies and cultures. Man, I had an organization reach out to me in Fiji one time. It was a church actually, and there was this community of people who was practicing cannibalism real hard. So they wanted to invite me out there to talk to the preschoolers and try to redefine their mentalities in whatever way that technology probably could help. And at the time, I didn't have partnerships with like law enforcement and stuff like that. So I'm like, no, I'm cool on that. I could do something digital. But even that, they was like, this can be a complete game changer, not just decreasing gun violence, drug activity, empowerment, unemployment, but cannibalism. It's stuff that's not on my radar to be trying to tackle with technology, and then bringing them more to a more lightning, a smaller one. I had a meeting the other day with one of the a C-suite member from IBM, just talking to him about this project, and it's like some funding that I'm trying to raise that some of these corporations in America have never like invested into like a Black-owned tech company in the way I'm trying to hit it. And I know the origins of where they got their initial funding from years ago and things like that, which wasn't nothing innovative like that. So that's a big challenge too. It's a lot of innovative things like, oh, let's learn about this and learn about that. But if we really, like they say, you got to go backward to move forward, like a slingshot. So when we're talking about information, we can actually go in these hidden temples or pyramids throughout Africa, India, China, and find instructions about brain surgery, heart surgery, all type of stuff. 360 degrees of science and books, which was tens of thousands of books of science of math. Right. That got burned from Cleopatra Library. It's so much stuff that we already created. It's just the knowledge been took from us. So I think like trying to like versus like keep trying to move forward and see what's next. It's like, let's take some time, be still, and research, because we would be surprised, people trying to declone the flower of life symbol and things like that. We ain't really been down here too long, couple hundred millions of years to say like we got it all figured out right now.
No, I mean, when it comes to kind of going back to the question, how does technology help encourage open dialogue across cultures? I mean, yeah, like there's so many ways in which it does and benefits, and I completely agree with everything that you're saying there, Jared. In terms, and to be honest, there was a lot there as well, which you said and shared. So thank you very much for that, and I do appreciate that. But yeah, no, in terms of when it comes to emerging technologies, absolutely, it's crucial to bring us together.
I gotta jump on this next question first too, because I gotta talk for the streets.
Well, I'll bring it around to you in a second, Jared, because you had a lot of time to talk, and then I'll come back to you. But I just want to bring some other people in.
I didn't ask to answer that. I was enjoying listening, but I want to speak for the kids that's locked up right now in this next question, because it's something I'm really doing with the streets.
Sure, like I said, I'll come back around to you. Just let me bring in other people, and then I'll come back to you. So we'll go around to William, then we'll go to Lawrence, and then we'll come back to you, Jared, right?
Okay.
All right, William, over to you.
All right, so one of the key things that we're hearing is how everyone here is influencing their local or national community. And I think we need not miss out on that, because the way technology unfortunately has us disconnected in some ways, because we're looking at the technology and I think it's more or less being self-centered in what it can do for us personally, as opposed to what we can do collectively and in our communities. And as we're listening to the dialogue and connecting, we're seeing, well, this group needs assistance. This group needs help. This group is reaching out, like my young brother was saying, from different areas of the world that want to connect with him, to have him come in and talk to another culture or talk to them about another society, about what's going on and how they can improve themselves. And just for an example, I've had a couple of communities in Africa reach out to me that want me to be their chief or their associate chief or whatever the term is of their village and their tribe, to advise them on technology. But we would have never had these opportunities before without AI and metaverse and telecommunications and social media. So it's key that we still have these conversations, but we look at the responsibility beyond just us and how we can influence the young brothers and sisters that are still trying to figure out, I have an Instagram account, I have a Facebook account, I have a Twitter account, I have whatever, TikTok. What can I do beyond myself to communicate positive information with the world, but also at the same time grow myself into a positive influencer locally, nationally, and internationally, and that's important. So, thank you.
Yeah, no, honestly, I agree with that so much. And Lawrence, what are your thoughts on William that just William shared right there?
Yes. So when you brought up the mention of social media platforms and then combining that back to peace efforts, we have to, a great example I can think of off the top of my head is when we're thinking of things such as things going on with the cobalt mines in Kenya and issues in Gaza and Ukraine and all these places. I've been noticing often that the people who are going through this have, I'm trying to remember the name for it, GoFundMe pages, where people are donating money so that they can get medical care or buy food because they're in a situation where they can't go to work because their place of work has been physically demolished. So by using technology, we can help them to not only get a sense of peace in having food, which is just a basic life necessity there, but also being able to come together and raise awareness about things such as police brutality or issues around the world that I would have never known about. Living in America, if we didn't have the internet, I would have no clue about what goes on in the mines in Africa. I would have no clue about what goes on in Gaza because I don't live there. But when we're using social media as a positive tool, we're able to call out these injustices throughout the world and support the people who are going through hardships. And the last point I'm going to close out on when it comes to bringing together peace, a great idea I have when it comes to using technology for that is we're able to use things such as generative AI to truly put into perspective the long-term damage that things will have. Now, although I'm not very well versed in issues such as climate, we can look at the fact that in Pennsylvania, where I live, it was 57 degrees on Christmas Day. That's not supposed to happen.
Jesus.
57 degrees in December in the Northern Hemisphere.
Jesus.
And then it is now February. It's supposed to be 40 degrees. It's 57 again.
Oh, wow.
It's February 1st. It was 12 degrees. February 26th, 57.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Now, if we can apply AI to this, it can use all the data out there, all the information that the human mind doesn't know. And you can just ask it, well, at the current rate that we use electricity, how long will it take until our water supply runs out? Because the way AI centers work is they need to cool off those computers. So with your laptop or your desktop computer, you notice how it'll start making that loud fan buzzing sound to cool itself?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but the computer is the size of a skyscraper, and it's using water to cool it. The data center for Google often use more water than a town.
Yeah, I tell you what, when it comes to that side of things, like when it comes to water, absolutely, that's such a huge challenge. Because if you're taking it all away from the humans, right? We need to drink every day. How can we drink every day if we can't, get the water that we need? So I completely agree with you. And
yeah, I'm going to close it out with.
Sorry, yeah, please do.
With this last little line here,
sure.
Because the point about the water too, it ties into food insecurity as well. Because with those computers getting so hot, we're going to be building more of them, and by themselves right now, the heat from them won't cause much of an issue worldwide. but in your town, it will. And then that heat over time, placing these in rural areas will cause issues with the crops. The crops then lead to food shortages. So as a result of overuse of technology, it can cause issues with damaging the environment because of water shortages, which then causes food insecurities. But at the same time, we can use it as a positive tool to help people in faraway places. Think to things like the internet, social media, and GoFundMe pages. So it's a really
there's a lot of challenges there. And by the way, we are starting to run out of time, so I'll quickly add my part. I'll let Jared speak, and then we're going to go on to the next question. My part, I would say, is very simple as well. Is sometimes just simple things like misunderstandings and misinterpretations, right? Like when it comes to different languages, etc., culture, it can very simply be a misunderstanding or misinterpretation when it comes to the piece of us, and then it could cause issues and that side of things. So Jared, you're gonna have to be very quick because we are running out of time. So if you can literally get straight to the point, and then we'll go into the next question after.
No, go to the next question.
You sure? Okay. So the next question is, how can governments and industry leaders work together in these efforts? So Stephen, we'll bring you into this, and then OBF as well. So Stephen, do you want to kick us off on this question?
So from my end and from our continent, what we're doing mostly for these efforts is to have the public-private partnerships. And we believe this will help us in terms of, leveraging our emerging technologies on peace building initiatives. And also we want to, push funding of digital, literacy initiatives. And I love what our senior is doing within the metaverse space in terms of just having those digital, aspects of training people on what technology is. And we also, I know the European side of things, there's an aspect of, building up AI frameworks and being able to govern AI, because any technology has its positive and side effects. We're also trying to work from this end of the continent in terms of ensuring that we have a type of framework that guides people now to use these technologies responsibly.
Yeah, and also just to kind of add to what you're saying, when it comes to the public and private sector, with people collaborating and coming together, you're finding a lot more that when it comes to AI and or actually really specifically AI is actually really pushing that. And I know the blockchain side of thing has done that, but I mean, like the biggest collaboration I'm seeing is when it comes to the AI side of things. I don't know if that's what you're experiencing and seeing as well, Stephen, quickly, but. And then we go to you next, OBF. Stephen, just what are your thoughts on that quickly? And then we'll go to OBF after.
In terms of the partnerships?
Yeah, so like when it comes to the public and the private sector and them coming together for AI, are you seeing that as well in terms of like from your own personal experience?
Yes. It's happening because most governments in Africa now are looking at having, their AI strategic, plans for the next 5 to 10 years. And this one will only come through when we incorporate the private sectors, innovators, and everyone around, that sector to just ensure that everything runs smoothly. Because one thing, for you to regulate an emerging technology, you must involve all stakeholders. So there's no shortcut in that in terms of having a whole public-private partnerships as well to ensure that you don't over-regulate and at the same time you allow innovation as well. Because I'm a firm believer of, regulation should not stifle innovation, but they should come into, what we call same table top in terms of agreements between both the private innovators and also people who are trying to build something from the emerging technology. So it's just trying to find that balance between, the regulation and innovation as well.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And OBF, what are your thoughts as well?
Yeah. So, talking about how the government and industry leaders could come in, I'm going to use a real life example from the OpenAI. In the early days of ChatGPT, you could see that ChatGPT was able to generate all kinds of content, abusive, all kinds of harmful content. And then OpenAI came up with this team that we are able to put guardrails on the tool. So that was a very great intervention by the stakeholders of ChatGPT, right? Because in those days, you could ask ChatGPT something like, hey, can you tell me how to create a bomb or so? And then when we discovered that it wouldn't do that, some people use this hexadecimal and then convert it, all kinds of manipulations. So when the ChatGPT produces the answer in hexadecimal, people take it back to some other tool that converts it to the English language, the human language to understand. So the team which OpenAI came up with were able to address this aggressively. So that was a great example. So putting guardrails to this tool is going to help to attain a global peace and actually use it for good. Also, I'm opportune to contribute to an ongoing book with IGI Global called Encyclopedia of Modern Artificial Intelligence, and I'm contributing a chapter that says guiding using AI to prevent memory loss. So there's a postulation that says that in the years to come, the average human memory is going to be depleted due to over dependence on the machine. Students and career persons depend on generative AI to be able to come up with solutions and the assignment and coursework and career task. But in my own presentation, I was able to give guidelines on how we can engage the AI aggressively and decisively such that instead of depleting your memory capacity, it's going to boost it. So imagine a student who goes into the chat GPT and begin to learn maybe the gases law in physics and then stay there. So I compare that to a traditional library. I compare that to the traditional search engine like Chrome and Google and all of them. And I was able to point out that if the AI is engaged aggressively and decisively, it could aid millenniation, it could aid assimilation rather than searching in between interrelated website on a traditional search engine, which when that is obtained, it could help to improve the human memory. So at the end of the day, I did a call to action, a call to action to the government, to industry leaders to be able to protect and use this as guardrails to the use of AI for students and career persons. So these are some of the ways I have been involved and seen practically that government and industry leaders could come in such that the emerging technologies is gonna made for advantage, not for bad.
And I'll add one thing as well to the ChatGPT side of things. When it comes to how can governments and industry leaders work together in these efforts, one thing we're seeing right now, and we've all seen it, and we've all seen it on the news, which is was it the Stargate? America, put America first, and everything that Donald Trump is doing. OpenAI are collaborating with Donald Trump and Donald Trump's administration, and also now we're seeing another 500 billion invested as well when it comes to Apple, and they're putting 500 billion also into the US. Again, this is a collaboration of government and industry leaders coming together in creating and pushing efforts for AI. So I just kind of want to use that as an example because we are seeing that on a big scale as well, and we've all seen it in the news. So I thought that was a quick example. I will get around to you, Dishan. We've got to jump on the next question because, like I said, we've run out of time and we have very limited amount of time where we can cover all the questions. So my next question is, what steps can be taken to make these technologies more accessible? So Dishan, I will bring you into this, and you can quickly cover whatever you was going to say before, and then you can go into this question, and then we'll bring in Jared as well into this question. Over to you,
Thank you
Dishan.
so much. Thank you so much. I wanted to mention about the collaboration of private and public partnerships. Let's not forget that although there are positives, there are also negatives. That when these two come together, some people are getting cancelled, jailed, abducted because of things that are saying that the government does not agree with. So although there are positives, there are also negatives to this collaboration.
Sure.
On the steps to be taken, these technologies to be more accessible, there's something called sensory substitution, where an individual who does not experience certain stimuli can use another stimuli or part of the body to experience something else. For example, if someone cannot see, they can use haptic suits which have actuators and are correlated to certain frequencies on the electromagnetic spectrum, and they can actually see to some extent and not actually use their eyes. So using that technology, that sensory substitution, it can be applied to a number of different senses to get an output of another sense.
And Jared, what are your thoughts as well? Because we've literally only got like 2 minutes, and I want to bring you in for the last point. Please share us your thoughts on this question.
Yeah, respectfully, can I pass it off to you, Brother Lawrence, to hear your respond on that?
Okay, so one of the things that firstly, thank you for that, because this is something that I often think of. A few of the ways that we can make technology more accessible, not only just mentioning helping people who are blind being able to potentially see, but also thinking more on other disabilities. For example, a lot of people have disabilities that you just cannot look at them and see, such as autism, ADHD, Tourette's, things of that sort. So we're able to find ways to innovate technology to make it more accessible for people who may have an amputation. Microsoft, previously, they have made disability controllers where, let's say your arm is amputated at the elbow, so you only have an elbow. They were able to create controllers that you can use your elbow to input controls with, which that is one method. Other things, such as for people who may be dyslexic, would obviously be text to speech on computers. So finding other ways that we can make technology more accessible for people, whether that's a physical disability, a mental disability, a issue with reading, or some people who there's information that's only written in one language. If I don't know how to read Korean, I don't know what it's saying. But Google Translate can tell me a close idea of what it's saying.
Or even ChatGPT. But anyway,